Well, thank you, Craig. So, hello, everyone. Hi, Unlimited Wisdom family. Hi, Fix It Freddy. Uh, hi, community. So, hi, Faye, Scott, Fahad, Sylvester, my son, Matthew, Arthur. Hi, Arthur. Great to see you on here. Coach Bob, Deborah, Melody, Lisa Marie. My lovely wife is not here today. She's out doing some stuff with her friend Jolie. It escaped me there for a second. So happy, blessed Good Friday for those of you that recognize this time and the progressive of Passover. So to the Jewish people, and yeah, the subject that I wanted to talk today is really, not just the principle of that, but just really why we should constantly stop and be reflective of how great life is. I think sometimes, we allow the world to sort of make us think that the world's going to end, that everything's bad. And, there was this phrase that I learned 40 years ago. And it was probably really 41 or 42 was when I was working with Roger Penske. He's just so bigger than he was when I worked with him. To think that I bet you there hasn't been a year that Roger Penske and Penske Motorsports hasn't grown ever since I've been with him. Probably back in 85, 84. So nice to see your face, Sylvester. Welcome. And so one of the things that's really, really amazing is I learned this concept, and he was really always about just being able to really look at everything small, similar to the book, that I was told to get, The Greatest Miracle in the World by Og Mandino. And when you go through this book and do what it talks about, you immediately get to understand that, how grateful are you for your eyesight? How grateful are you for your ears? I got pictures today or videos today from Matthew, and our new grandson Ezra, that's a little over 9 months old, was walking with his legs, push, in a walker. And it's pretty interesting that you would see him take a few steps and then he would take one of his feet and step on the other one. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of us that just really don't remember or take a second to think about, wow, I can hear, and I love when, and the greatest miracle in the world, it talks about you can hear someone say I love you. You can hear a child's laugh. You can hear music. Now you look at your site, you can see people smile. You can see a sunset or a sunrise. There's just so many little things in life. And when I, of course, shared with people for years, I get out of bed, and as soon as I wake up, I'm not only, thanking God for another protective night for me and my family. And then I tell people I always take my slippers and I put them under my bed, when I go to sleep. So when I get out, I got to get on my knees to get my slippers. So since I'm down there, I just need to be, grateful for another incredible day. And, I notice when people get a little older, it's like there's not any perfect days anymore. Do you guys, know what I mean? It's either too hot or too cold or too windy. How many people get up and it's like, wow, another wonderful day. No, it's like, it's windy. It's cold. It's too hot. And it's like, it is pretty interesting how people just shape their things where, Roger Penske would say to us all the time is like, if you're not grateful for the little things, then there's no reason for you to get anything else. And so here's a multi billionaire with 70,000 employees for him, and I was one of the small little employees in 72 of his companies, and it never ever ever I never ever seen him not bring up the importance of reflecting, being grateful. and it was like he was always talking like that was his reset. You know what I mean? And he was the first person. I've never ever heard any other person talk about this, but you can see what I got behind me. If you go to any kind of racing team or any competitive team whatsoever, he called it the reflection room. And what the reflection was is all the trophies that all of his motorsports teams have won. And it was funny because people that didn't understand, they called it his ego room. And and what's crazy is that after all these years of him racing, he still has firsts. You always have these firsts. So it was the first year that he won the NASCAR championship and so the Indy championship and the Indy 500 all in one year. So you always see these people that are constantly achieving just to be better than they were. But people that are out there trying to do what is we call Kaizen. Kaizen is never ending improvement, where what you're doing is you're just competing against yourself. You're just getting a little gooder each and every day. And so what people do is they always ruin this by unrealistic expectations. Sylvester, I don't know if he's been involved in any kind of home-based business or entrepreneurship before, but now that he's in, it's like people get, all right, so how quick can I make 10 grand? If I can make 10 grand by the end of April, I'm going to be one happy man. And it's like, well, that might rely on your experience or how much of a network of people that you got following you now. You know what I mean? It's like everybody wants to make millions of dollars, but no one wants to take the time to build a group of people that know, like, and trust them. See, people just get in and get in. There was a guy that talked to me yesterday, and that's what he was saying. He said, I did some due diligence on you, and I found out that you've been doing this for almost 40 years, and you made 60 million. And he goes, that's just hard for me to understand. And I said, well, what I'm most impressed with is I've helped 68 people earn over $1 million in commissions, and 9 of them own their own companies. I now guess I could say 10. Yeah, 10. 10 of them now own their own companies. And I said, I'm more impressed with helping other people achieve what they wanted to achieve out of life, because now those companies have gone out and created millions, right? And a lot of people. So it's like this ripple. You start this ripple. And he was just saying, and thank you guys, but he was just saying, I get in these things and, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work for me. And I said, would you believe that you are trying to sell people instead of building relationships? And he goes, well, I thought this industry was all about sales. And I go, and that's why it doesn't work for you. And, I just got a cool download right now. If you were going to start your own company, and yes, I was talking about Matt, and so one of the things is Matt's and Josh's company is starting to get to the point where Matt's going to have to start hiring people, right? And when you hire people, my oldest son owns his own company, and he's made $1 million with me. So I got 2 sons and a wife that has made millions of dollars listening to me. And the whole point is that, it's like now you got to find people that it's like the phrase is good help is hard to find. So why is good help hard to find? Because if a person comes from a place where they've always complained about everything, if you tell them the concept of the extra mile, they don't know what you're talking about. It's like people always ask me all the time. It's like I've never, ever, ever not had a job. the reason why is because it didn't make a difference if the economy was going up and down. I was the kind of individual that people were constantly trying to take me from the person that I was working for. And I never ever thought of that concept. What if you were the worker? What if you were one of the people in a company, whether you were doing what I do now, building sales forces and teaching and being on stage. I'm going to Columbia on the 22nd through the 26th to launch a new product for the company. And to get asked to go down there and talk to a whole group of people that are not even in my group. And it's just from stuff that I've done in the past. So I've sold billions and billions and billions of dollars a year of coffee. And so now I get to go to Colombia and launch a new product, coffee, right? But my whole point is that if you're not the kind of individual that just looks at everything that you have, God bless you, Lisa Mary, and put yourself in a position where you're grateful for everything that you have, and just constantly going the extra mile and just doing things that you would want other people to do. I have always said to my sons, it's like, well, how do I get people to work? And I said, it's very easy. Lead by example. If you're doing more presentations and doing more training and more peak of interest and putting more people in the quote unquote funnel than anybody else, then they now get to see you do it instead of being told to do it. And one of the projects that we're working with right now, the AI upline, is again a really perfect example about that, right? There's going to be people like me that are going to sell thousands and tens of thousands of memberships with AI upline, but I'm not probably going to use it to actually build a team. Does that make sense? What I mean is I'm not going to go in and set it all up and go through the battles and score points and do stuff, because if I know that it works and I can see Melody and people, Deborah and some of you that are already at the top, then I already know that the product works, that people like it. So now what I got to do is just get more people on it. But again, it all comes from this concept of, do you go through everything in your life and you're thankful for the people in your life. You're thankful for a great day. And it's just like, it's just really, really important. So I say all that not to press upon any of your guys' beliefs, but I remember the first time that I heard the phrase Good Friday. And when I heard Good Friday, I was going like, I don't think anything good happened on this day. I'm not a historian and I'm not a theologian. I was like, I just don't understand. And I'll never forget, talking to an individual about it. And he's going, well, there's just one line you got to remember. And that's that it's finished. So it's like you can watch a sports team struggle and go through a lot of hardship, but when the game is won, you do celebrate. It didn't make a difference how bad the whole day was. It was that at the end, it was finished. And so, again, a lot of people try to get into too much of the thought of it. Craig and I were talking before we got on here, and it's like, it's just the whole concept of people before us, that they did what they did. So we could get to where we're at. So you got a lot of people that, I think I seen a phrase the other day that said, you either hate the country that you're in or you don't. And I'm thinking, wow, what if you become who you hang around, which I believe, and every day, all day, you thought how awful the country you lived in was? That would be pretty hard to function. Do you guys agree with that? You don't have to agree with a person. or an administration. But why would you hate your country? That's bizarre to me. And for those of you that were going like, listen, you don't understand. Man, I'm telling you what, where I come from, just being alive and just being able to be in a position where I can get better. I could live in any country and live in the harshest places. And people have already always have said to me, well, what if you were, didn't have a cell phone and you were just dropped in a country, in an awful place? How would you find it? How would you do it? And it's a statement that comes from Mr. Rogers. Just look for the helpers. No matter where you are, if there's a group of people that are complaining, there's also going to be a group of people that are helpers. And I would start off by helping them help. And when I help people that help, I'm going to get networked with people that seem to have more than other people just because they're helpers. You guys know what I'm talking about? They might have like a phone and access to the internet. And if I have access to the internet, I can create an empire. Why? Not because I'm a good salesperson. It's because my first goal is to help another individual, and to put the big capital HELP. My number one goal is to help a person feel like they're a miracle. Help them feel like someone loves them, that someone cares. Because if you can give people hope, then it's pretty amazing. I find it very, very interesting that I don't know how many of you have seen the recent Artemis 2 launch, right? And from NASA. And I mean, you could go all over the place about how many years it took them to get this out, how many delays. When you see the camera of the launch, it was like I left Elon Musk a tweet because Elon Musk ruined me. Because I'm used to seeing 8K footage from 15 different cameras on a rocket launch. It's like the inside of the capsule where the astronauts are. I'm just like going, wow. It's like driving a brand new Tesla and then getting in a 69 Camaro. It's like all of a sudden you're just like going, it's a car, but my God. And I even there's the spouse. There's the Terry.
I'm eating a peep.
Eating a peep. And so it was like really, really amazing. But when they were asking people why they were there and why they were watching, it is pretty interesting how beautiful that people were going. This just gives me hope. You know what I mean? It just gives me hope. Like back in, it's not what you can do for yourself, it's what you can do for your country. It's the whole concept that everybody's like watching this. And then once the rocket's launched and then it finally does the projection to go around the moon, there would have to be pretty awful people where their lives are messed up, where they wouldn't want this to succeed. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like, I think once it's launched, I would love them to complete the journey. Wouldn't you? I don't want anything wrong to happen to them. And, so yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to really, really get you guys to start your day, get in the right energy, to get in the right place, to put yourself in imagination of what would be incredible for you and the people that you love. That the number one key to get the right attraction and stuff is to put yourself in the right mindset of being in a place where you're just extremely grateful and thankful. for everything in your life. Could it be better? It always can be better, right? So my imagination is not the same. My imagination of a life better for me and my family. Oh, did you see the videos of Ezra walking?
Oh, shut your face.
Um,
I gotta go. I gotta go get the waiting. Little walker.
oh, Leo's like, all right. So a very, very blessed Good Friday to you guys. It's nice to have Sylvester on here as our new guest. And so I'll let you guys go. So Craig, back to you.
Wow. Thank you very much. What a Good Friday message. And let's all get out there. For those that celebrate Good Friday, enjoy. For those who celebrate Passover, enjoy. Or whatever holiday that you do celebrate, please make it a good one. So just a reminder that tomorrow we have Ask Us Anything on the premium package. For those of you who are there, we start at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Now, I'm going to ask Robert a question.
Sure.
Sunday, are we
Yes.
going to do, Matt, enough said. So there will be a Master's Mind on Sunday at noon Pacific,
Absolutely.
3 Eastern. And in case you guys were questioning that, yes, we will have one. Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern is Recess. Great way to start the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, just like today, Daily Wisdoms, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Thursdays, Breakthroughs. What a great way to move to the next level. Get on a breakthrough. And then, of course, every Wednesday, and we're, I think, going into chapter 12, audio chapter 12, of Outwitting the Devil. It's an amazing series based on the book by Napoleon Hill with our featured professor, Dana Scranton. He will be joining us. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday. Be there. We've got lots of great events that happen every single day of the week. Go to the Unlimited Wisdom calendar, check it out, and please join us. With that being said, everybody, please have a fantabulous Friday. Be good to yourselves. Be cash. Bye-bye. I'm going to go ahead and unmute so that we can all say so long and see you soon.
So long. See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Bye, Shelly. Bye, Michael and Angela. Faye, Scott,
Glad you could make it, Terry.
Matthew, Hannah,
Welcome,
Arthur,
Sylvester.
Melody, Sylvester. Sylvester, if you want to send me a chat anytime inside of Unlimited Wisdom, there's a place where you can send me a chat and we can connect and I can help you with anything. Okay? Okay. Thanks, Dustin. Hi, Coach Bob. And then, of course, Terry. And hostess with the mostest, Craig Jackman.